What's up and welcome back to another video. Guys, now throughout my past I've built quite a few clone bases ranging in size. However, today I figured it was time to switch it up a little bit and show some love to the original trilogy. So today I'm going to be building an Imperial base on Lothal. Now of course, knowing me, I can't just be straightforward and build a mock. There has to be a little bit of spice. So I'm going to be challenging myself to build this Imperial base in just 24 hours. So there's not a lot of time, so let's get right on into building this mock. I gathered up my base plates, set them down. Once I had them set up, I started to build the foundation where the wall was going to lay. After the foundation was done, I grabbed my wall pieces that I put together, overall with a nice kind of simple build, but I do like how these turned out, having some nice stud detailing as well as some different grates to add some more detail and texture to these walls. Then I grabbed my second one, keeping it nice and symmetrical, both covering the same distance. I think both these walls look pretty good and they sit on the foundation pretty well, but I still have to reinforce them. After the walls were up, I was able to put in my little door pieces. I do really like how these doors slide in, and I think it adds another layer to the base. However, I still do need to reinforce both of the doors because, yeah, they keep falling over. But other than that, I'm very happy with how this base is starting out. I started building up the foundation for the main building that's going to make up the majority of this Imperial base, being the most important part and probably the focal point of this build. I had to make sure that I did it right. I got the foundation in, and then I started to build up the walls and building different sections. I started to add some detailing, tiling off, and I also put in a nice little bathtub so Palpatine and Vader could get a little bit of alone time.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Okay, I've been working on tiling everything off and working on the interior, and it's raised the issue that I'm honestly just about to be out of tiles, and I don't know how. I feel like I should have a lot more tiles in this, but I've looked everywhere through my whole collection and I don't know where they are, and it's not like I can order some and get them here before the 24 hours. It'll take probably at least a week if I order anything off of Bricklink, so I really don't know what to do. I'm still going to try my best to finish this. It's just not looking likely that I'll be able to tile off this whole area, which I was originally planning on, so I think I'm going to shift my focus to finishing off the building, because the building is going to be one of the main focal points, because over here I wanted to do some bit of like a landing yard, shipping yard. I was going to put in a TIE fighter and some different crates and stuff like that, and then, you know, stage up a little bit of a battle. So I guess it doesn't necessarily need to be tiled. I just think that tiling looks so much better than having stud visible. So I'm going to keep looking through my collection. I'm hoping that I can at least scrounge up a couple more tiles and make this work somehow, but hopefully this isn't too much of a setback. I still should be able to finish the mock. It's just not going according to plan, but you know, sometimes it happens and I'll just have to push through. But overall, pretty happy with how it's occurring or coming along right now. So I'm gonna get back to work and hopefully be able to find some more tiles. Okay, I thought about it for a little bit, and kind of embarrassing how I didn't think of it sooner, but I'm just gonna tile it off with like the actual color of the ground in like the tan, because I have a ton of tan tiles. So that's just what I'm gonna do, and it'll just be like, you know, like foliage on the inside, maybe not, but it just won't be all paved over and tiled off nicely, which I mean kind of makes sense for Lothal. So I'll be able to use the remaining of my tiles to finish the building and maybe do another building on the side and build up the walls, because I do have to do the back side of the walls still, because I can't have the red parts sticking through because that won't look right, and I also have to do the back side of the doors. So that hopefully will work out. I don't know how I didn't think of that sooner, but now that I am ready to do that, I'm gonna get to work and get tiling, because there is a lot of tiling ahead of us. This is where the fun begins. Well, maybe not the fun for me, but I have to cover up all of these studs somehow, and the only tiles that I have on hand are in the dark tan. Yes, it's another Drew Bricks build where the majority of the base is just going to be a flat dark tan area. I'm not beating the allegations of only being able to build flat terrain with this one, but to try and combat that, I built up a small little hill area to build this other side up at an angle, adding in some different variation with some different bricks and tiles to get some different color in here, so it's just not plain old boring tan, and I think it turned out pretty good. I just have to bridge the two together and make it look like one cohesive area and not two weird separate spots. And then I filled in the whole thing with filler, which took a lot of time, and then I was able to move in and continue to tile and add in a bunch of different texture. I wanted to make this look realistic, as Lothal is just a pretty big flat and open area, but I tried to also make it look interesting so it wasn't a super boring area. And this is all going to be covered up pretty much later, so it doesn't really matter what I do, but I wanted to have a nice difference in studs and also tile, so I had options for later on. I think the mock is looking pretty good so far. Of course, not really close to being done just yet, but I have the majority of the hard work done, being all, well, maybe not hard, but more like tedious with all of the tiling, but I have it all tiled off. You can't really see it because I have a bunch of just containers and stuff there, but really all there is left to do, other than like all of the final touches, is to finish the building and do the whole outside and finish the walls, and then all of the details and stuff like that. But that will be for later, because right now it is 1:45 a.m. and I am pretty tired. You know, tiling, all this work takes a bit out of you. So I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna set an alarm pretty early and get up nice and early, and we can finish up this mock. So I will see you guys then. Got some bad news. I slept through my alarm, so unfortunately, instead of having the 4 hours that I was planning on having, I only have 2 hours to complete this mock. So I'm gonna stop talking and get to work, and hopefully I'll be able to pull this together in 2 hours. It's time to kick this mock in the overdrive. With not a lot of time left and a lot more work to do, I had to get to work tiling off the rest of this area. Once I finished that off, it was time to move on to the base and finishing off this area. I got all of the foundation and built up the walls and tiled off the floor and got some 2 different nice rooms. Then I moved outside where I had to finish tiling off the rest of this area. Once again, being Lothal, it is kind of just a flat, dark, tan area, but I tried my best to make it as interesting as I could. Okay, the base is finished, but I only have 17 minutes left if I want to finish this in the 24 hours that I've allotted myself. So that means that I only have 17 minutes to put in all the final details and put in all of the minifigures and come up with some sort of story for this base. So I'm going to get to work, and hopefully we can finish against the clock. Racing against the clock, I tried to fill in with all of the details and set up all of the minifigures best I could. I added in all of the different stormtroopers as well as the fourth brother and just some different Imperial officers and stuff like that to fill up this base best I could. Then I grabbed some different crates and stuff like that just to make this look a little bit more lived in, and then I got it all set up. The Imperial Army has set up a base on the outskirts of Lothal to test out a new version of the TIE Fighter that would be detrimental to the rebellion if it was able to be finalized. The rebellion got news of this via a spy inside of the Imperial base. To make sure that this TIE Fighter was not able to be finalized, they sent in a strike team of rebels led by Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger. Their mission being to destroy the TIE Fighter before the information can be gathered in order to mass produce them. However, they are met by ample resistance, including the fourth brother and an army of stormtroopers. Not to mention the feared Darth Vader, who was sent to oversee the development of this TIE Fighter. While it may seem hopeless for the rebellion, they still have hope because there is a spy on the inside of the Imperial base who is able to relay information and also might be able to do some damage from the inside. 24 hours is up and the mock may not be exactly what I had envisioned previously. However, I am happy with what I was able to come up with in the 24 hours that I allotted myself. So I will give you the quick run through this mock. As you already saw from the story, the rebels have landed in on the Ghost, or the Phantom, I mean, to try and take out this Imperial base before the specialized TIE Fighter can get out and start wreaking havoc on the rebellion. Now, I think one of the biggest downsides of this base is going to be this whole empty area right here. The reason is that I just ran out of time. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do here, but I guess it kind of makes sense given that Lothal is just very open and basic and plain. So I guess that kind of does depict Lothal pretty good. It's just in a mock standpoint, I would have liked to have filled this up somehow. That's kind of the only, the biggest downside. Other than that, I'm very happy with how this whole mock turned out. I think, yes, the fight scene could have been done a little bit better. It's just that I ran out of time, but I am still pretty happy. I think the walls were one of the highlights here. I think building them up in the way that I did with the plating kind of style and then putting them up makes them look a lot better and a lot more detailed versus, per se, the walls of the building that are kind of just flat. Yes, I could have added some more detail to them. It's just something that I didn't have time to do. So I'm very happy with how these walls turned out, and I was even able to get in a small walkway area up there to stage minifigures. So I think that that worked out really well, and something that I was able to do that I really wanted to do was make a working door. It's something that I always forget or just don't have time, or just something that I don't want to do in my mocks, just because, to be honest, sometimes it can be a pain, but I think putting them in just adds that level of playability and realism to your mock, because now I can close the doors up and it also looks really, really cool. I'm very happy with how this wall design's turned out. Definitely something that I am going to revisit, but it's kind of all there is to talk about on this side of the mock, so let's move to the inside. Now, to be honest, there's not a whole lot going on the inside of this base behind the walls. I tried to save all of my time in detailing for the actual base itself that we'll get to in just a second, but I do think that there's a few things worth noting. We have obviously the TIE fighter right here being the main spot of the story with, you know, some pilots down there just having a little chat. We have our little Minbin Han Solo there being a bit of a spy on the inside, and then coming over here, you didn't really see it earlier just because it's kind of hard to get in there. Kind of just a pile of crates and stuff like that, and then some more people talking over there. I think this whole side could have been done a bit better. It's just something that I unfortunately, once again, ran out of time for. I think the next mock that I do definitely won't be on a time limit because I want to see how much I've been able to improve and what I can build when I'm not on a time limit. But I do think the challenges are a lot of fun, and this one was no different. I had a lot of fun with this mock. But over here we have a small group of stormtroopers coming out of the base, and that kind of just leaves our last thing to talk about being the base. Now into the interior, this is all modular. It's just a little bit, doesn't go how it is supposed to. I put the tiles, but the tiles get stuck to this roof sometimes, so it's just kind of annoying. So it's not as modular as I would like it to be, but for the interior detail for the top floor, I went for a bit of a command station. I figured that would be the best spot to utilize this just because, you know, it has a nice overview of the whole base. And in there we have a slew of officers and stuff like that. And we also have Darth Vader, who is overlooking this operation and is ready to take on any of the adversaries that come at them. And this was actually also done modularly, just not as well, not well at all, honestly, if I'll be real with you, but it does come off at the cost of the walls. And you can see over here we have a small little armory, which I think turned out pretty good and didn't really have much to put in here just because of the doorway, but I do like how this goes, and I have the nice doorway in there, and it's just a nice little room. And then, as you know from earlier, we have the little hot tub room over there with Vader and Palpatine. A little bit of humor included in this base, but that does kind of do it for this mock. It was a lot of fun to do. I do really like to do these challenges, but if you have any ideas of what you want me to see build next, or if you have any other challenge ideas for mocks, because, you know, building on a time constraint it's fun, but it definitely has its limits, and it limits me to what I'm able to do. So if you have any ideas, let me know down below in the comments, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, leave a like on this video and consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew signing out.